Hi, friends. Are you excited and ready for the end of The Last of Us? Or as Fruity so kindly pointed out, The Last of Us? We're gonna finish it tonight. I am determined to get through it tonight. We don't have too much more to get through, really, but I was concerned that maybe the 3 hours I had slotted wasn't gonna be enough. Plus, I kind of just wanted to stream early today, so I do what I want, and you can't stop me. Thank you, Fruity, for the contribution to the Alien stream. Y'all are real dang close to fully funding that. There are only 8 days left, though. There are only 8 days left, and you're only at 84%. So keep that in mind. Yeah, hi. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope that your day or evening or whatever time has treated you well, and if it hasn't, be extra nice to yourself. Yeah. I'm also just very excited about this coming week. I know I keep saying it, but I'm just very, very excited. Stars, thank you for the contribution to the Alien stream as well. Reminder that I will probably mention a bunch of times throughout stream today, but I'm going to be streaming early and longer tomorrow. We're starting at 2 p.m. Central, and going for approximately 5 hours, maybe more, maybe less. We'll see. And in general, the schedule this next week is going to be a little different than usual, but it's going to be great. I don't have much else to say at the moment, except I love you. Hey, I love you. And it's gonna be great. So are you ready for this? Grip it and rip it. And I think we're just gonna start. Because, like, I don't want to mess around. I just want to do game. I just want a game. We've got real gamer hours up in here right now. It's game time. I did forget to do the thing. Did forget to set that up, but that's okay. Also, thank you for the grip and rip it. It's okay. It just kind of came out of nowhere. And I did sort of not give anyone a warning. Just pulled it out and was like, alright, this is what's happening right now. A surprise grip it and rip it, if you will.
Ellie, move!
That looks loud, so I'm gonna turn it down a little bit. Well, Joel, we've now made it much worse. Joel, please. Oh, buddy. I'm gonna turn that down even more. If that's too loud or is now too quiet, let me know. I didn't think we were gonna hop right into all the action right away. Right, the loudest bus! Please, bus! Oh, hi, Ellie. Ellie, you're gonna drown. That seems really quiet to me, but is it fine for you guys? I thought my headphones were turned up fairly loud, but that's okay. This is fine. I'm sure this is fine. We gotta go get Ellie? She can't swim? Ellie. There she is. There she is. Joel, I need you to move, my guy. Joel said, no, we're gonna linger. We're gonna take our sweet time. Yeah, no, game, I know I'm drowning. I'm aware. I understand. But it's fine. Sound seems good on your end? Okay, then I'll just mess around with my headphones a little bit. Now they're at the loudest that they can be. Still seems a little quiet, but that's okay. I will suffer through it. It was an extremely noisy bus. That bus was so rude. Oh, our baby. Well, this is a way to start stream. No, listen.
Hands in the fucking air!
Sir! Rude! Rude! horrible rude. Terrible rude.
Welcome to the Fireflies.
Fuck you, Marlene.
Sorry about that. They didn't know who you were.
And Ellie?
She's all right. They brought her back.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
You came all this way. How'd you do it?
How'd you get here before me?
It was
That's the
her.
real question.
She fought like hell to get here. Maybe it was
Maybe.
meant to be.
My baby. Hold on. Okay.
I lost most of my crew crossing the country.
Oh.
I pretty much lost everything. And then you show up, and somehow we find you just in time to save her. Maybe it was meant to be. You don't have to worry about her anymore. We'll take care
I
of her.
worry. Just let me see her, please.
You can't. She's being prepped for surgery.
The hell you mean surgery?
The doctors tell me the cordyceps, the growth inside her, has somehow mutated. It's why she's immune. Once they remove it, they'll be able to reverse engineer a vaccine. A vaccine.
But it grows all over the brain.
It does.
Find someone else.
There is no one else.
Listen, you were gonna show me where she...
I'm realizing we probably could have finished this last night.
I get it. But whatever it is you think you're going through right now is nothing to what I have been through. I knew her since she was born. I promised your mother I would look after her.
Then why are you letting this happen?
Because this is
Okay, before we continue on with this, I don't know if I have The Last of Us 2 downloaded already or not. I don't know if that's ready to go. The Evil Within 2 is downloaded and ready to go. So hey. Croc is an off-stream game, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna finish Croc at some point. Listen, we're gonna finish Croc at some point. Hold on, let me check something real fast. What is that? No, I don't think I have it downloaded. This is tragic right now, actually. This is actually just, like, kind of sad. Get to look at all my games while we do this. Where is it? Okay, yeah, I definitely don't have it installed. Well, that's fine. That's fine.
and about me.
Maybe I'll just start The Evil Within 2.
There is no other choice here.
I thought there was a bit more between Ellie nearly drowning and the hospital, but we're here.
Telling yourself that bullshit.
March him out of here. He tries anything, shoot him. Don't waste this gift, Joel.
Get up.
Otherwise, I don't think I've ever
Said
played the
get up.
DLC for this. That might be an option.
Go on. Move.
If you think it's cool, we could check it out. We could check it out. I'm here for it.
I said move. Give me an excuse.
Also, I say we could have finished this last night, but I needed to end when I did. Ah! Screaming. Mommy is making noises behind me, and it's terrifying.
Fuck you doing? Keep walking. I said keep walking.
Get him, Joel!
Where's the operating room? I ain't got time for this. Where?
Joel!
Where? Top floor, the far end.
Bro, why even tell him you're already dying? Make him wander. If I was a Firefly, you know, that's what I would choose. Okay, this is fine. Ah, fucking hell. Ha, ha. I just want this? Okay, okay, this is fine. This is fine.
What? He's dead. We got a man down. The smugglers escaped.
Locate the target and eliminate. We'll search the other floor.
Sir!
Yes, sir. Search the floor. Find that smuggler and shoot him on sight.
Glad he didn't notice me, because that could have been real bad. It's almost like I'm still here. Did you hear that? Are you gonna go check it out? Because that'd be cool. It'd be great if you went and looked at it. Okay. Not even an issue! Look at us go! I missed entirely. That's fine. This is fine. You know why this is fine? Because it's fine. We do kinda gotta do a murder on all these men. Also, I need to look for items. Okay, they're still way over there. They're very rude men.
Where is this guy?
Piss. You know what? What if we just do that?
Angry Barman is raiding with a party of 7. Keish and the gang welcome you.
Kimmerald, you're so dang loud. Welcome in, Raiders! How is it going? How are you doing? Angry, thank you for the raid. Oh. No, you don't see me! No, 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 no. Things are a little wacky and wild right now. It's fine. But welcome in, friends. How is it going? How are we doing? Hold on, let me run away and hide so that I can say hello and introduce myself. Hello? Okay, they're not gonna... I think shoutouts are still broken. I haven't had a chance to uninstall and reinstall my bot to see if it's worked, / I don't think there have been any new updates, but welcome in. My name is Keisher. You can call me Keish. I'm a queer horror and mystery game streamer. Hey, we like to play spooky stuff around here. Hello Angry, hello Hot Sauce. How are y'all doing? Glad to see that the Ocarina of Time randomizer has been going well. We're doing all right. Like I said, we're playing The Last of Us, and we're at the very end of the game. I've played this before. It's great and wonderful and fantastic, but I'm definitely already full of emotions over the end of the game. I think once we're done, we're gonna check out the DLC, because I've never played that before, despite owning it all these years. So I'm very excited about that. Lamia's over here making noises. What are you doing, baby? Hi. I'm good. Okay. Cat just likes to make barfy sounds sometimes. It's fine. But yeah, welcome in. You've been streaming for a while. If you need to take a break, do a stretch, get some water, eat some food, attend to some business around you, feel free to do so. We just started streaming, so I'll be here for at minimum 3 hours, probably. But it's important that you take care of yourselves. It goes for Angry and everyone who came in with the raid. But yeah. Thanks for bringing people over. Let's get back to dying. No. We'll just tell that man no. You don't get to come over here and ruin my day. Thanks. I don't have enough blades to do anything. Okay. Also, not me freaking out. Oh, hi! New weapon! It's a terrible time for a new weapon. Hold on a second. Hi, baby. Hi. I got a kitty cat. Of course. Now she wakes up. Now that we've started streaming. Do you want to just sit in my lap? Llama. Okay, I'm gonna set you in my lap, okay? It's a llama. Hi. He says, please just hold me. Can you lay down? Not fall down. Lay down. Okay? You just smashed your face in there. Hi. Hold on, I have to make sure that she is comfortable and content. Thank you for the licks, kitten. I appreciate it. Okay. I'm concerned. She's gonna wiggle around in my lap and scratch the ever-living crap out of my legs. Because I'm wearing shorts today. And I don't have a blanket that I can set on me. Okay. Are you good there? Also, Travis, thank you for the contribution to the Alien stream. Okay. There's a man over there. I shot you in the head, my good man. Allie, thank you as well. There's 2 men. Hello, men. Goodbye. Sorry, Lamia's patting at me and demanding pets. I can't pet you right now. I'm busy shooting fireflies and trying to get my baby back. You will still be my baby, Lamia, but there's another baby right now that I gotta take care of. Okay? Okay. She's in my lap. She's purring real hard. She should be happy. Look. Also this idiot. This man right here. Get out of here. Did mention it before. I find it strange that every single enemy in this game is a man. I think they changed that in 2. I think the enemies are a little more, diversified. I thought they did, but it's been a minute since I played it. I'll just keep shotgunning this man from a distance. I'm sure it's fine. Hey. Joel, I need you to... Joel? Sir? I can't get close to you. Oh my god. Shotgunning men is a Dracula move. Hold on. Lamia's wiggling. Baby, you can't do this. Ugh. If you're gonna sit with me, you gotta sit still. But you're not sitting still. So you gotta sit over here, okay? Oh my god. Oh my god. I love you. Hold on. Do you want some treebies? Can I get you some treebies, maybe? Will this make you happy? Yeah? Treat this for the sweetie. Here you go. Enjoy the snacks. Snacks! Llama snacks. Okay. Right? Jam. Jam everywhere. Sir? Sir? Ow! I would like this, I guess. If everyone could stop shooting me for 2 seconds, though, that would be awesome! Okay, you know what? Fuck it. The way he turned around to look at that just before it blew up. Very good. He's doing a very bad job at his job. Ah! Right in the kneecaps. It's all good, Bunno. Hi! Oh, shit. Sir! This is fine. Everything is fine. How's it going? How are you doing, Bunno? Thank you for the contribution. I could also... Look. I know Fruity was kind of getting on my case about this. We could potentially flamethrower a few of the baddies. Consider. But you did. You're like, Keish, why aren't you using the flamethrower? And I was like, because it's bad. And you're like, I don't know, I think you did. I don't know. I don't remember if you did. I think all you said was, why aren't you using that? And then that was it. But I'm gonna pretend that you got on my case about it. Because that's much funnier in my mind. That was pretty good, though. Hi. Hey! Hey! Stop wiggling! Who? Oh no. Joel, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. Are more people coming in? Not the burning zombie bites. That sounds horrible, and I don't like it. I also can't make any more of those, so this is tragic. I guess we'll do crafting speed. We're at the point in the game where it doesn't really matter. I'm not gonna get enough of anything to do anything anymore. Good. I'm glad everyone stopped being buttholes. A day of hooting and hollering is too much. He didn't see me. Did he see me? He saw me. Literally, right as I clicked to shoot. Come on. Get out of here. Get out of here. Oh my gosh. Is there anything that I can claim over here? Some items for a health pack would be really nice. Just saying. Hey! Asking you shall receive. Never mind, it's not enough of anything to do anything. I need some more rags. Please, we're in a hospital. There has to be some spare cloth around here. Just rip it from the man's pants. Just use the man's pants. Joel, be resourceful. Thank you for getting the content warnings up there. Get the bottle. Oh my gosh. This is fine. We are covered in blood. Okay, I know you want us to go up, but we're gonna go down right quick, okay? Because there's absolutely nothing down here. Right? This is the whole point of a hospital, is to apply medkits to people? So you would think, even if they don't have a whole medkit, they might have some spare cloth lying around. But this is the Fireflies we're talking about. Health kit! Oh, beautiful. You love to see it. I don't want this. I don't want this bad weapon. This is also a terrible weapon. No wonder they weren't able to get across the country without, like, losing everybody. Is this right? Where are we, and where are the things? Hello? Assault rifle sucks so much! So much! I'll never complain about NPCs having terrible weapons. No, I will. I will complain about that sometimes, but, like, you know. We don't want the anti-Joel ammunition. We want the pro-Joe ammunition. Joel. Joe. Sometimes our L's are hard. Sometimes words are hard. Marlene's journal. Realize, like, I haven't been reading these at all. We finally crossed the Utah border. In a couple of days, we'll be back with the others. Today, the crew was in much better spirits. I've been worried about their morale since Greg and Tanya's passing last week. It's good to hear them laughing again. Robin came up to me and said, "Thanks for watching over us, Marlene." It was a small gesture, but I needed it. Marlene, please. Ellie never made it. We arrived at the hospital. It was much celebration, at least from the others. Guess they're happy to see their old friends. We haven't seen some of these guys in over 10 years. After they told me the news, I couldn't eat, couldn't talk to anyone. Should be grateful to just be alive, but right now, I just want to shut my eyes for a bit. They look at me and I know that they're what they're thinking. That we're a bunch of incompetent grunts. But what was I supposed to do? Thought I was going to die. My men were being hunted by the entire Boston battalion. I had to get her out of the city. How was I supposed to know the Firefly escorts were already dead? God damn it. I panicked. In the end, I healed pretty damn quickly, and my men were more capable than I gave them credit for. More than a handful survived the army's attack. Should have kept her with me instead of handing her off to a couple of smugglers. Failed you, Anna. Failed all of us. I'm an incompetent grunt. Okay, Marlene, this journal is way too long. Not Mojo Joe ammunition. I want pro Joel ammunition. Ammunition that summons Joel right in front of you so he can axe you in the face. That's my kind of ammo. Let's go. I mean, I guess. Yeah. It's just bad. All the way around. Assault rifle, bad. Oh, speaking of bad. Sir! I knocked your hat off. My guy! How many times do I have to shoot you in the head before you stop? Hold on. It's all bad here. Joel! Come on! My guy. This is gonna end in misery? Not tiny Joels. Horrible. They all just stab everyone in the kneecaps. These men and their stupid hats! Oh my gosh. Come here. I mean, I suppose. Excuse. Thanks. I think I mentioned it yesterday. I've been trying to just like do nice things for myself, and my current nice thing is putting on just a little bit of makeup. No, I've died. A flamethrower that has the range of an axe is horrible. This is horrible. I forgot how horrible this place is. If I can just get up a little bit. They're all just idle back there. What are they doing? This is fine. Okay, let's do this. Where's that grunting coming from? Can't make it that far. It's fine. You gonna... Of course he walks into it after I've thrown my bottle, but that's fine. This is fine. Okay. We've got this. Not even worried. Sirs. Okay, this is a little bit of an issue. This is how we handle this situation, right? Just, why are you still alive? My man. Is that... I think that's everyone here. Can they stop giving me assault rifle ammo and, like, give me ammo for any of my weapons that are actually, like, good? Consider. And also more health kits? Health kits would be lovely as well, right about now. Joel is a little achy. He could use some healing. It's all the stupid assault rifle ammo. Game. Please, be kind to me. Please.
That should buy me some time.
Health kits? Health kits. Kits for healing? Anything. Hold on a second. This is it. I do really just kind of want to start.
Doctor?
Hold on.
What are you doing in here? I won't let you take her.
Dude, really, what are you gonna fucking do about this?
You fucking animal!
No witnesses. This is fine. Pick Ellie up. Let's go.
Come on, baby girl. I got you. Oh, shit.
Time to go, Joel. Joel.
I got you. I got you.
If I run, Serpentine, they can't catch me.
Tell me which way.
Oh. Help! Help!
We're okay.
No, you don't. Joel, we had no health. That would have killed you. Thank God for plot armor. Ah. We love Joel here.
You can't save her. Even if you get her out of here, then what? How long before she's torn to pieces by a pack of clickers? That is, if she hasn't been raped and murdered first.
It ain't for you to decide.
It's what she'd want. And you know it. Look. You can still do the right thing here. She won't feel anything.
Marlene, we just killed a bunch of men back there. Okay? I need you to stop and think about this for a second. I have to crack a joke or else I'm gonna start crying. I can't. I'm gonna cry. It's fine. We'll just cry.
What the hell am I wearing?
Just take it easy. Drugs are still wearing off.
What happened?
We found the fireflies.
Joel, please.
Turns out there's a whole lot more like you, Ellie. People that are immune. There's dozens, actually. Ain't done 'em a damn bit of good, neither. They've actually... They've stopped looking for a cure. I'm taking us home. I'm sorry.
It's not technically a lie.
Wait! Let me go. Please.
just come after her.
Everything is fine. It's all fine.
Well, looks like we're walking. Should be a straight shot through here.
All right.
It's actually kind of pretty, ain't it?
Yeah.
Are you... Do I... Okay.
All right. Now watch your head going through.
I got it.
Feeling my age now. I don't think I ever told you, but Sarah and I used to take hikes like this. I think the two of you would have been good friends. I think you really would have liked it.
This is fine. Everything is fine.
Look down there. Just a little bit further now.
Joel. It's fine. Everything is fine.
I got you.
Okay.
All right, come on.
Hey, wait. Back in Boston? Back when I was bitten? I wasn't alone. My best friend was there. And she got bit too. We didn't know what to do. So... she says... let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together. I'm still waiting for my turn.
Ellie.
Her name was Riley, and she was the first to die. And then it was Tess. And then Sam.
None of that is on you.
You don't understand.
I struggled for a long time with surviving. And no matter what, you keep finding something to fight for. Now, I know that's not what you want to hear right now.
Swear to me. Swear to me that everything that you've said about the Fireflies is true.
I swear.
Okay?
Sorry. Not me crying. I did say I was gonna do it. Fucking love this game so much. So that's Last of Us. Hey. It's a very good game. I remember the first time that I played through this and got to that ending, I like genuinely stood up and started screaming. I hated it so much. Just like, not the game itself, but like everything that goes into this lie that Joel is like trying to hold up. And it's like, you know that Ellie knows it's not true. I don't know. It's a good game. I love this game so much. Skip. Let's just skip that. It's a very good game. Hey. Okay. Apparently I hadn't gotten through on... Did I not play it on this account? It might not have been this account that I played it on. Okay. So, like I said, I haven't done the DLC before, Left Behind, so I think that'd be fun to do. Fuck. Yeah. And I'm here for it. I'm excited to check out the DLC because I kind of just like next weekend I kind of just want to start the second one. I kind of want to just do The Last of Us Part 2. And it, like just immediately get into it cuz I'm like I am super feeling this game right now. And then probably after that we'll do The Evil Within 2 cuz I was also super feeling that game. Hi, Emmy. Thank you for the hydrate. Allie. Emmy showed up. Allie has redeemed a hydrate. Thank you all. I'm also gonna open a window because it is very warm up here. Hi. But it's not even that cold. Jesus, okay. Emmy, thank you for the contribution to the Alien stream. So yeah, I think we're just gonna jump right into the DLC. Angry, thank you as well. If you like to see tutorial pop-ups, no, I'm good. No, I know the control scheme well. Let's play. Not grounded. Hi, Devo. Little man has come to say hello. I'm excited to do the DLC.
What? Fireflies?
Get down!
Oh! What the fuck are these guys?
Oh, no, 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 no. No, don't do this! Ugh.
Joel! Put your arm around me. Come on.
I'm not ready to feel everything again.
I think we're safe. Joel?
I just want to stop feeling what I'm already feeling.
Joel!
I say as we continue to play. It's fine, everything is fine.
Get up, get up, get up. You gotta tell me what to do. Come on. You gotta
Oh.
get up. Joel!
I'm also excited for the feels. But yeah, like I said, I haven't ever done the DLC before. I've owned it since I got my PlayStation, but I've never, like, I don't know, I just don't... I'm terrible at getting to games in my backlog.
Riley?
No!
Landed on my hip. What the hell? I thought I was bitten.
I know. It was kind of awesome. You know,
Oh no!
I haven't seen you, and I don't even know your name.
It's just
25 days.
started!
well, 46 technically. Want to know what I've been up to?
All this time, I thought you were dead.
She probably still is?
Yeah.
Is this in the past or is this now? Or wait,
Look.
I don't... Words. No, this is before all this. Okay. Okay, I see. I
Still no
understand.
roommate?
I
I had to
understand.
sleep under Liz for 3 years, and you know how
Ugh.
bad that girl smelled.
You're a firefly.
You still have it up. What are you doing?
I'm making sure I don't get caught with the Firefly.
Relax. There are no soldiers on the entire floor.
Here, congrats.
Hey. Are we cool?
Are we cool?
I disappeared and you're mad. And I owe you an explanation. Let's get out of here and I'll tell you all about it.
It's almost morning, and I have military drills. You know, where we learn how to kill fireflies.
Put some pants on and let's go.
I'm so dumb.
Oh, come on. When have we ever gotten into trouble?
Sorry.
Come on, give me something. Fuck! Oh, here we go.
So is this all... I mean, this can't all be during... Okay, I'm just gonna stop guessing, and I'm just gonna roll with whatever is happening right now. He's got a new belly button. That's what that is, right? Oh... Duct tape makes it all better, right? Sometimes you just have two navels.
Buy us some time. I'll find something to stitch you up, okay?
Hi, David.
Callus, keep an eye on him.
Watch him, horse. Watch him, weird tall long dog. Keep an eye on him. Make sure he doesn't go anywhere. It's all up to you, tall weird long dog. Weird tall long dog.
Promise.
I love you, weird tall long dog. Everything is fine.
I totally got this.
I hate this. We gotta fix Joel. Oh no. Oh no! Our Joel! He's broken!
Oh no! Our table! It's broken!
It's not... That's a... I hate this because I understand this reference. My grandpa really liked that series. That book series. That's a okay, hold on. I hear monsters. I have nothing. We have nothing here? Ugh. Okay, everything's gonna be fine. I'm just gonna be really sad. And it's gonna be great. I'm sure it's fine. I'm still...
Weston's Pharmacy.
Okay.
That sounds promising.
Put nail polish on it! Just dump a bunch of nail polish in the wound. That'll fix it. Right?
What the hell? Did you just swallow the pills and leave the bottle?
Yes. Recycling doesn't exist in a whatever this is. Apocalypse? Zombie issue? The way my brain is just immediately shut down and is like only sad.
Of course. Everything's picked clean.
Give. Polish Joel to a mirror sheen. Global zombie issue. You know, the national zombie issue. Oh no. Not the apocalypse, it's the zombie issue.
first aid kit. How the fuck do I get inside?
I need a key. It's key time. Also, do we know about how long the DLC is? Please read. Pharmacist went crazy and attacked me. I hit him pretty hard. He's unconscious. I locked him in the American Princess store next door. Please get him help. Combination 35 30 31. 35 30 31. That's a terrible combo. That's horrible. Alright, but we get to go to the American Princess store, which this is just American Girl doll. This is just American Girl doll. I recognize this.
5 right, 3 left.
Oh my god.
Right. That worked.
Oh my gosh. There's gonna be a zombie though. Ellie, be careful.
Shit, spores.
That's not an issue for you, Ellie.
Jump out of me. Go ahead and fucking do it.
These dolls are terrifying looking. There he is! He's gonna grab me, isn't he?
Oh, man.
He's gonna start wiggling. He's gonna start wiggling.
Nothing. Where is it?
Great.
Okay.
Oh,
Fuck. God damn it.
well, that's not the worst wiggle I've seen.
Key. Pharmacy. Let's do it.
Oh. Oh. This isn't a note, it's a picture, but okay. Wait, I can flip it! Oh, excuse me. Pharmacist's note? He gooped everywhere! Think about me while I'm off. I'll be missing you, but not too much, Laura. Sad. It's very goopy in here. Look, clothes! Ellie, I understand if this is not your style. It's not particularly mine. But clothes are clothes! And also, we know that we have an issue finding, like, rags! And you know what? Can make rags! Oh. Clothes. Clothes can make rags. I can't make anything. Ellie, I need you to, like, aim? It's fine. This is fine. Where? No, wait, no, this isn't fine. He's going where I need to go! Hello? Clicker. Do you wanna... This is fine. You know why? So just throw that over there. Draw his attention over there, and then we'll just get back into the pharmacy. No issue. Didn't even notice I was here. Look at that. Like a pro. The way that cardboard cutout scared the shit out of me.
Yes.
Look at that med kit! Oh, look at that med kit. Don't do that! The clicker's gonna hear you, Ellie!
A military helicopter.
Ah,
Have something.
does it
Hand
though?
control. Great. We're still fucking there.
Yeah, where would he go, bud? Scissors, rags, things. Give me all of the items. Can I make a thing now? Nope, still not enough to do literally anything. This is tragic. I do kind of appreciate the fact that they, like, for the DLC, they sort of decided to expand on what happened during the winter month. As we all know, winter is the best season in The Last of Us.
No sutures. Well, at least I can use this.
And it does... I imagine we have all asked how the hell Ellie managed to do anything with Joel during that entire situation.
Here we go. Hurry!
Okay.
Up here!
Still not ready to see everything with her friend, though. Honestly.
Oh, man. That was close, huh? You got fast there. I'm impressed.
Thanks.
Well, come on. Up we go.
Where are we going, Riley?
Find them.
The fireflies?
Yeah.
Remember that firefly you bit and stole his gun?
Yeah, I remember him.
That's Trevor. I saw him walking down the street, so I tailed his ass. I follow him into this alley, and all these fireflies ambush me. They took me right to their hideout. To Marlene.
Were you scared?
Terrified. I
We're
thought
gonna
this
see
was
this
going to
kid die, and I am
But I said
not prepared.
she was expecting me.
And she just made you a firefly?
Something like that. That whole almost killing me thing was a test. She wanted to know I was committed.
Oh.
Come on.
I'm coming, but I'm also looking around. Listen, I have to explore everything. Also, preemptive apologies if I'm, like, really quiet during sections. I want to be able to, like, hear what they say.
These days.
I don't know. No one really.
What about Tino and the rest of the guys? How are they doing?
Riley, those are your friends.
But you talk to them.
Yeah, I guess.
This is all new. They are extremely quiet. They got me on the co-commentary. They got this handled. I'm gonna turn it up just like a little bit. But if it ends up being too loud during like combat or anything, let me know. But Big agree that they are very quiet. Like everything else sounded fine up until now. What does this say? Scott was here. Robert was here. Tina was here. Ellie and Riley were here. Oh, friends.
Have you found the light yet?
Oh, har har.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to offend your people. So what? You buy into this whole thing now?
Oh no, it's not so good.
Okay.
Okay, but before I go up there...
30 days, my ass. People are getting infected all the time. They just do a good job of hiding it.
You've run into more infected?
As part of my initiation, they actually made me kill this. You know, let's talk about something else.
Right.
No, let's keep talking about weaponizing children. Come on, Riley, tell me all about it. To be fair, that's not just commentary on the Fireflies. That's also commentary on... It's not Fedra now, is it? Whoever the army occupation is here. Let's talk about both of these sides. Weaponizing children.
Sorry. I'm a bit jumpy lately. Careful, it's wet.
Hey, so maybe I should join the Fireflies.
Ellie, that was the first thing I asked Marlene. She wants you safe at that stupid school. I'm not even supposed to come see you.
Why does she care?
She's worried I'll get you into trouble.
Well, Riley, if we're being honest, it's fine.
Hey, remember the first time I brought you here?
What are we doing here, Riley?
I have a surprise for you. What?
Is it a weird tall long dog?
Maybe.
Oh.
friend again if it's a dinosaur.
He'll just have to wait and see.
Ellie.
You know, I got them back.
Super
Our
soakers.
water guns? Bullshit. You telling me Corporal Dickhead gave them back to you?
Of course not. I had to sneak into his office. Riley, I had them in my hands.
But your ass got caught.
I want to do this.
Got caught.
I want to do this. Something that I've really appreciated about this game is the fact that, like, it does kind of constantly remind you that Ellie is a child. Ellie is 14. She is a baby. And while she still had to, like, grow up and do all this bullshit, and deal with all of it, she's still
You
just a
heard?
kid.
Do you know how it happened?
They said he just fell off his horse. Heart attack or something.
Man. Well, how many people get to die of natural causes in this world?
None that I know of.
Exactly. So, let's see what he left us.
A child. But seriously, like, I think, like, there's so many games that have, like,
Is this
kids
Winston?
in it that don't really, like,
Man, guys,
reaffirm that they're
handsome.
children, aside from the fact that they are much smaller than everyone else.
Want some?
Or they're just, like, extremely juvenile. Yeah, take it.
Watch out, that's not beer.
Please. Oh my god. Oh, here. it's
Boy.
disgusting.
Well, like, I would argue that
Cheers,
Atreus is still trying to stay a child, but also forcing himself to grow up to please his father. I really like the new God of War. I've really enjoyed it. But, like, I don't know, especially, like, in apocalypse type situations, you either won't see children, which, okay, fine, whatever, or you do and it's like they're extremely sheltered, or they're just not portrayed as a kid. I don't know. I think Last of Us does a pretty decent job of, like, reminding you of that at times. Okay, what is going on over here? Riley, where are we going? Riley, I need you to lead a little better. I know I was yelling at you earlier for running ahead of me. I
Ellie,
didn't...
Help me lift this.
I take it all back.
I hate that.
Everyone in this game is just so well done. Whoa!
You know what? How about we find another way?
Yeah,
Go on, Riley!
sounds good.
Oh, dang. We love the portrayal of childhood trauma. As a child who was traumatized,
Hey, Riley.
I appreciate it.
You know what? I'll get you up and over. See if you can.
Who knew? Who could have thought that addressing childhood trauma was going to be such a rough situation? Hard to fully encapsulate.
Well, you see anything? Riley?
Riley, please. Riley, please. That thing must smell so bad. Also, Halloween
How
shop.
the hell did we never find this place? Come on, I got the perfect mask for you.
Spooky town.
Perfect.
Spooky town. This is my kind of place.
Ellie,
I am looking around.
check it out.
Absolute
Is that like a
goober.
Wolfman or something?
Put it on.
Or all the spooky or the plastic smell is gone.
So
It might be, but then it would be like falling apart, right?
Yeah, bad.
I don't know. We love
Now
Spooky
what?
Town here.
Roar. Ellie, really? Fucking roar.
Oh, 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 oh!
There she is! Now let's see what else this place has.
My baby! Skeleseer!
Ask Skeleseer a question and shake for your fortune.
Skeleseer! Right, mash triangle to
You're gonna
roar.
die today. Nothing. What a jip. You gotta clean it up.
P.
Oh. Seems dreadfully unlikely. Ah. Whew, what a relief.
No death today! Can I ask it more things?
Will I drive a car again? I feel it in my bones.
I want one of these! We're gonna exhaust the
Will I ever
dialogue
leave
here.
in this stupid quarantine zone? The answer is in limbo. So there's a chance. Am I ever gonna get to play a video game?
Wow, meta.
Your chances are dismal. Fuck you, Skull. Will we ever get our water guns back?
Thought you said you got them back.
The spirit nods yes. Ah, you hear that? Says we're getting our water guns back.
Let them go, Ellie. Let them go.
Can I... but I have to... Let me keep... I must...
Am I ever getting boobs or what?
Ellie!
The spirits are quiet. Ugh, of course they are.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough, Skeleseer.
Oh, triple phoenix.
Screw the werewolf! I want to be the stupid bird!
What do you think?
Adorable.
Why, thank you, kind pigeon.
That's terrifying. Not quite as scary as this, though. Ellie. Ellie, please. Ellie, please. I love it. I love it so much. I never want to leave the shop. No, we don't need the dumb witch mask. It's the bird. It's the bird all the way. This is it. We have made our choice. Final answer. What is this? What is this? Eyeballs.
People bought this stuff?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Well, the horrorscape that we live in, Ellie, is much different to the horrorscape that you live in. You good, Riley?
Wow. That was stupid.
Okay, where are we going?
Those masks are even cooler.
Are they? I mean, they're fine.
Vampires are like my thing.
What are you doing?
I am Count Dracula.
A Dracula!
I'm actually Countess.
I am Countess Dracula.
Yeah.
It's gonna be horrible when she dies. It's gonna be horrible when she dies. Okay. Riley. We've done the
True
thing.
horror tales. Accounts of real monsters and spirits.
Where are you? There's the door. I found it. We can leave now. I've had my fun. I am Dracula!
Ah, I got an idea.
What are you doing?
See those cars down there?
Yeah.
Don't. You're
Red
gonna
is
set off
green,
the alarm.
I'll be blue. We throw bricks. Whoever breaks all the windows to their car wins.
Are you kidding me? I'm like the Brickmaster.
Right.
Which one is mine? Red is
User
mine?
has to answer a question. No sarcasm.
What is this, truth or truth? Alright, fool. You're on.
Red is mine. Understood.
And that's how you do it. Alright.
Okay. Riley, you suck at this. I'm gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, you like that?
Two down.
Damn.
Excuse you.
Bam.
Bullseye!
Excuse you. This seems extremely rude.
Boom! Bingo! That's one.
I gotta do the back window.
There.
It's fine.
Yes! Brick fucking master!
I am the brick master.
Yeah,
No,
whatever.
I didn't.
Alright, question time.
Mine had tougher windows. Why did you leave? Why did you lash out? Did Marlene mention my mom? Forget it. Why did you leave?
Okay. Why did you leave without telling me?
I was in a weird space. Look, I didn't tell anyone.
But I wasn't just anyone. Was I?
No, it's just... You gotta see this thing, and we're almost there. Come on.
You didn't answer my question.
Poor sport. Can I break these windows? Bricks. Bricks? More bricks? Did they take the bricks away? They took the bricks away. There are no more bricks. Alright, Riley, where are we going?
What are we doing here? This place is creeping me out.
So, you know how we thought they only powered certain areas of the city?
Yeah.
Follow me.
I need to know where the bricks are. I want to know where the dang bricks are. Those are my bricks. Major Banks! This will be my third request in as many weeks for additional patrols in my area. With the Hartford QZ falling apart, the city has been inundated with refugees, many of which are coming through the mall because of the lack of soldiers over here. These people are desperate. In most cases, they enter the city infected. As you've seen from my reports, I had to neutralize 3 stage 1s just last week. I realize resources are scarce, but if we don't get more security, I'm afraid that this mall will get overrun in a matter of fuck. Fuckity fuck. You're not gonna listen to a word of this. Forever your lackey, Sergeant Winston Asher. That, tone change in the, letter. A little abrupt, a little drastic. But hey. But also, I want more bricks. Listen. I am the brick master. But I want to go through this door. Listen, Riley. My brick senses are tingling, and I think there might be a brick behind that door.
So, turns
Okay.
out, the whole city has power. They just flipped the circuit breakers. All you gotta do is flip it back.
There's no
Done.
way this is gonna work.
What did I tell you?
Wait, so the whole mall is lit up?
Let's go find out.
This is terrible and horrible, and we are going to die.
You ready to see
Well,
Wait.
Riley is going to die.
I know what you're trying to do. And I'm really glad that you're not dead. I mean, I'm glad that we're back together.
Oh,
and
honey.
I didn't mean it.
All that stuff I said before I left. I didn't mean any of it.
Riley, you're such a sap.
Bet you started it.
Oh, man.
Are you ready?
Totally. Are you kidding?
Also, and I don't know if they're still here or not, I'm getting all sappy because Riley and Ellie are about the same age that, like, Emmy and I were when we first met and became friends. And it's just making me all goopy. Sappy. Friends. Fun fact, I've known Emmy
Jesus.
for ages. Atrium note. With supplies running low, Private Eugene Ellis and I entered the loading dock in hopes of procuring additional rations. We were caught off guard when a group of roughly half a dozen Stage 2s attacked us. We neutralized the threat, but not before Ellis was bitten. After a heated debate where Private Ellis tried taking his own life, I incapacitated him. I then took it upon myself to break protocol. I isolated the infection with a tourniquet, gathered and cleaned a surgical saw from the abandoned triage. I injected Private Ellis with morphine before amputating his arm several inches above the bite. Confident that once the private regains consciousness, he'll be clear of the cordyceps infection. Captain Reagan Francis. I'm goopy. Also, what did Ellie's head just do right there? What the fuck? Brick! Ah! Bricks! I only threw that one because there was a second one here, but bricks! We got bricks! We got bricks! Oh, Ellie, I wanted you to jump over that, and you didn't. So then I just kind of ran into it. This is fine. Give me all of this, please. Thank you. Everything is good and right with the world, again, for I have bricks in my possession. And I'm very happy about it. No. Give me the brick. Rags. Scissors. I didn't have my flashlight on, that was why it was so dang dark. Bullets! Great. You love to see it. Okay. Hello? Assume we're trying to turn the power on. Give me those. Stop listening for a second. /
Oh, God.
forgot everything because I got excited about a brick. Can't go over there because there's water there. JK, I have to go into the water?
Oh, my God.
Hey, game? Hey, game. Fun fact.
Jesus.
Ellie can't swim. I can't swim? Hello?
Oh, man.
Just waiting for the infected to show up. It's not gonna be great. More bricks.
Here we go. End of the line.
Okay, do it, Ellie. Put your back into it.
Nothing?
Do we need gas? We need gas.
Out of juice.
Ellie is the cotton candy. I am the raccoon. Terrible. Tragic. The most upsetting. Hello? I know that there's the door behind me. I know that that's where I am intended to go, but I would like to see if there are any items before we do that. Like all of these bullets and some of that food and more bullets. Oh, maybe I'm not supposed to go through the door. Oh, okay, I am. This is fine. It is important that we are full up on items. Hi, Dougie. How's it going, friend? How are you? Hello and welcome. What is... Did I really just, like, walk past all of this stuff? No, I hadn't been over here yet. Okay, this is fine. I understand. This is fine. This is fine. But yeah, hi Dougie! My shoutouts still aren't working.
Empty.
But if y'all don't follow Dougie, you should. Because Dougie is delightful and wonderful. And just the perfect human being. Thank you, Fruity. I need to mess around with that. Figure out what's going on. Yeah, Dougie's streaming everybody's favorite game. API error. Okay, hold on. I know that this is empty. Oh, you want me to siphon from the trucks. Okay, it took me a second, but I got there. We got there eventually.
Oh, fuck. Stalkers.
What? What now? I'm glad you're doing well, though. I hope the fork knifing is going well. Beat them! Oh, I did that bad. Oh, I did that bad! Are we good? Are we good? We make do with what we got. There's another boy coming. Why are you hiding over there? I thought these were called runners also, not stalkers. Ellie said stalkers and I panicked that it was like a new type of zombie. Shit. Stop wiggling! Rude. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Okay. Find some gas.
Yeah, like I didn't... I guess like I recognize them. That's what I thought. I thought that runners were just sometimes a little more wiggly than other times, which, okay, that's fine. Apparently they're their own thing.
Jackpot.
No one has ever thought to tell us this before. And that's okay.
Siphon it out, right? Here we go. Okay. Alright. That should do it.
Okay! Great! We got gas. Toot toot! Get it? It's funny because...
Come on.
We talk about farts a lot. Sometimes.
Alright.
and gas is, farts are sometimes referred to as gas. So we got gas. It's a funny fart joke, in case you missed it. Toot toot. Okay.
Note to self, don't touch electric water. But
Yeah, hey Ellie? How are we? Oh, this is open now. Okay. I was like, I don't know that there's any way for me to get out of here now.
well, this door's open.
Sorry, Ellie. We just live on this platform. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, okay. Never mind. Don't hold on. I don't think there was any items over here.
Easy,
There are right there, though.
easy.
There's some food.
Keep looking straight.
Ellie!
It's gonna be fine.
Where do... Never mind. It's gunpowder. Also, my headphones just disconnected. Hold on a second. I don't know why they do this sometimes. There we go. Sounds back. I've learned to recognize when they just suddenly disconnect for no apparent reason. 'Cause it's not like they're dead, and it's not like I force them to disconnect. I don't know what they do. It doesn't even like give me like a proper notification that they've disconnected. I just suddenly don't hear anything. So that's exciting for me. Also, this is how we get the stuff on the hood. I understand. Elliot, I'm gonna need you to hop down there and not throw yourself. What are you trying to look at?
That's the way out.
Yeah. Oh. No, the sound's back. Thank you, though. It might be checking to see if I'm still there. Ellie, just jump up! Don't jump over, you goober! My goodness. It might be, but like I said, it just like doesn't even like give me a notification that like, hey, they're disconnecting now or anything. They just say, I don't think so. I think we're done now. It's like headphones. Look, I'm in the middle of I'm in the middle of stuff right now, okay? It's okay. So hey, headphones. Stay connected. I don't remember if I asked this. Do we know how long the DLC is? I don't imagine it's, like, super long, right? TVs. About 3 hours? Okay. Then we'll probably just finish this in a single sitting, honestly. Which was kind of the hope anyway. Cool. 2.5, 3 hours. Great. Great! Oh, right here. This is fantastic. I didn't think it was gonna be, like, a terribly long one. Oh, I didn't need this at all? That seems incorrect. I mean, yeah. Can't always trust Google. Oh, I see. I understand. Nope, I get it. I get what I'm supposed to do. Surprise! Garage doors are not meant to hold up a 14-year-old girl. Just like that. It was very sudden. I only knew it was happening because I was no longer allowed to walk.
Finally.
So I at least had the feedback of, hey, I'm pushing forward and Ellie is not moving anymore. It's a surprise for you, though. Okay, time to hop down. Great. Good job, Ellie. That's fair. Can't remember all the jump scares all the time. It's just not... It's just not...
Yeah, I hear you.
One of these boys was hooting. Going, whoo! Whoo! Woo! Woo! This is incorrect! No, get over, get over, get over! Ellie, please! Ellie! Everything is bad here! Go away, Moth! Hi, Devo! He heard me screaming. It's like, Mom? Are you okay? No, Devo, in fact, I am not okay. That was horrible. Everything was bad here. Woo! Oh, wait, I can also make one of these, though. This is fine. Check it out. We did great. This is fine. There we go. Get away from me. Go! Sorry, there's like an idiot moth just bumping into everything over here. It's fine. Give me that. No, I need a brick. I am the brick master. My bricks are delicious. Okay, are there any other items I can claim since I panicked and ran away? No, only bricks. Only bricks. That's a lot of ammo. Thank you, Fruity. I am the Brickmaster. My bricks are delicious. I love that game. Psychonauts very good. Also, you don't follow Fruity. You should follow Fruity. Because they're delightful. They play weird, neat, fun games. Oh, I'm holding. Thanks. Got distracted. This is so loud!
Here we are again.
Okay.
God damn it. Where the hell are they coming from?
Places. Fruity also plays API Error. All the cool kids are playing API Error. Get over there. Both of you, get over there. Okay. Is that all of them? Did we do it? Thank you, Bono.
Okay.
It's true. Follow more else. You gotta do it. Excuse me. little consumptive orphan coughs. And an eyelash in my eyeball. This is fine. This is fine. Brick! We have got brick! Oh, there it is. I see. I understand. Okay, his eyelash is not going away.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Get it. Open it. Make it happen. Good job,
Fire
Ellie.
helicopter. Let's do this.
Woof. We're all here to support our friends. Go see our friends. Go follow our friends. You should also follow Bunno if you haven't. Because Bunno's wonderful and delightful. Got some cool content. Go follow my friends, or I'm gonna beat you up. Okay? Okay. I'm terrible about doing shoutouts. And I think everyone knows this at this point. Because it's mostly just all of us here.
Here we go.
We don't often get new folks around here. Ellie! This is fine. This is fine. Just no more jumping, okay? It's true. But you know what? Some people really like that.
Please be in here. Please be in here.
Ellie, you just about stabbed your own finger with that needle that's just out in the open,
I'm not letting you
and
go.
definitely not sterile.
Are you ready?
We'll just do our own dang shoutouts until my stupid bot works.
Are you kidding?
Told ya.
Okay.
Wait, won't the soldiers spot them all being all lit up?
Nah, the exterior lights don't work.
How do you know?
This Firefly, Melanie told me all about it.
This looks fancy.
Oh, which one do I want to ride? No, no, game, you have to let me choose. No, game, please. I want to choose my weird, tall, long dog. I want to be able to choose. Bad game, 0 out of 10.
Yeah. What are we doing?
I mean, it's fine.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Riley, come here.
No, you got this. Go.
Aww.
What the heck? This is awesome. Oh, man.
Birds! Reflective jays.
Come on, get up here. Sit next to me.
All right, wait up.
Right? This is precious.
No.
man.
I just got on.
Aw.
Phooey.
Well, I loved it. So there.
Oh. I got something else.
What is that?
What did the triangle say to the circle?
What is that?
You're so pointless.
Fuck you! You found another pun book?
What did the cannibal get when he showed up to the party late? A cold shoulder. Here.
Well, if I wasn't gonna cry before, I'm gonna cry now because these puns are terrible.
You know, you might just be my favorite person again. Just saying.
I know my girl. Just saying.
I love them. Also, Ellie, I saw through your your midsection for a moment there. Your torso and
You ready?
your hips just detached.
I heard two peanuts walked into a park. One was assaulted.
Oh!
Good one.
I have a joke button. I have a joke button.
Hard to beat.
That's funny.
That is funny.
I like that one.
I mean, I do, but it's not the fun kind of detachable hip.
Anti-gravity, and it's impossible to put down.
Nice.
Yes, that one's awesome.
Great job.
Not that the guy didn't know how to juggle. He just didn't have the balls to do it. Oh.
This is horrible and I love it.
I'm glad I know sign language. It's become quite handy.
That's silly.
That's really silly. I forgot how to throw a boomerang, but back to me.
Yeah.
When
This is
comes
it. This is
up,
the rest of the stream.
It goes back 4 seconds. Oh,
Yeah.
get it?
Yeah.
It goes back
4
for
seconds.
seconds.
Yeah.
I once heard a joke about amnesia, but I forget how it goes.
Not the amnesia.
When the power went out at the school, the children were delighted.
Okay.
Those fish were shy. They were obviously coy.
Aw, that's cute.
That was cute.
That was cute.
Those two men drinking red
I
and
need to
white
go through all of the jokes, okay?
Dark.
That's kind of dark. What is a pirate's favorite letter?
Oh, that is fun.
Nah, 'tis the sea. Oh, 'cause the sea, 'cause the water, the ocean.
That's the
Yeah,
best
yes,
one.
Ellie. Yes, Ellie.
Awesome. The midget psychic escaped prison. He was a small medium at large.
No.
I'm inclined to be laid back. That's true. I actually feel like that's
That's
true.
it? That's the whole
Honestly.
joke?
That's the whole joke. 'Cause he's reclining.
Inclined. Meh.
Newspaper headline reads, "Cartoonist found dead at home. Details are sketchy." Yes.
That's cute.
Oh man, I love
Meh.
this book. The
Are there
magician got
more?
frustrated and pulled his hair out.
Oh, okay.
Like a rabbit.
Yeah.
Lame. The frustrated
Young guy.
cannibal threw up his hands.
Oh,
I get it, because he ate his hands, and then he threw them
I.
That's so gross.
The criminal's best asset is his liability. Oh, brother.
Wow, no. Boo.
Okay, one
I
more.
don't have the faintest idea as to why I passed out.
JK, one more.
I heard about the guy who got hit in the head with a can of soda. He's lucky it was a soft drink. Silly.
Yeah.
I just want to.
Alright, I'm putting this away.
I just want to read all of them.
Thanks for getting me this.
You're
But I also want to continue on ahead. But also I need to hear more. Thursday. Such an asshole. The other day I got back early from my patrol and there's little Ellie sitting there next to my damn tent, petting my horse, all while crying her eyes out. So what do? Take off before she notices me. I mean, what the hell would I say to her? Hey Winston. Hi Ellie. Can you please stop crying? It's upsetting me. Thanks. Yeah, that would have gone over well. She's always so cheery with her endless questions. You'd have no idea she's so sad inside. She wears that mask well. Such an asshole. Sounds like you were, Winston.
That's embarrassing.
I hope they did.
How do you do that?
What? Whistle?
Not the whistle.
Oh, okay. You just...
It's all about practice.
I give up.
You'll get it.
Whoa!
I can whistle.
Look at me!
I can whistle. I thought the sound of swole. I thought the sound of the escalator was Ellie still trying to whistle. How badly? How badly are we talking here, bud? How not good? Weird. Wait. Oh, I thought there was a horse in that picture, and there is not. That's.
No fucking way!
I told you.
Go away. Dude, I'm gonna fucking crush you! Sorry. Moth came back. Well, it's not like we can play any of these. Can't crush you. Even if you ask nicely. Hey.
Oh, don't tell me it's busted.
What?
Man, even for a second I thought I was gonna play it.
You still can.
How?
All right, come here. Close your eyes. Do it.
Okay.
Use this to move. This is your punch, this is your kick, and you block with this.
Okay.
First, you have to choose your character. Your plan
Is she gonna make the
is
noises?
unstoppable, claw-wielding, yet drop-dead gorgeous angel knives.
Am I supposed to picture all this?
Eyes.
Okay, sorry.
She stands
Am
on
I
the
gonna
edge of
play the
shadow,
fucking game?
an ancient mystical building where they hold the tournaments of the immortals. Your opponent, Black Fang, steps out of the temple. He's this super ripped white dude with 3 arms. He's out for your blood. The music kicks up as he gets into his fighting stance. You ready?
Bring it.
Round 1 starts. Black Fang rushes towards you. He throws a double punch in your direction. Jump up! There, he overshot you. You land behind him. Quickly, punch him in the back. You nailed him with a
kinda
elbow,
love
taking
this.
off like 15% of his health.
Yes!
He spins around and comes back with a shadow claw attack.
What do I do?
Hold back and block to counter. You throw up your elbows just as he executes his combo. You skid backwards but take no damage. The final block knocks him off his balance. He could recover any second. Quickly, counter with the heavy lift. He grabs you.
It is!
Break 3. Hit up, block, and kick for a blade charge.
I was doing that and it didn't work?
Block him. Down, forward, punch for a special move. Yes! Fuck him up.
Okay, I see, I understand.
All right. Hey, Serpent, strike!
I understand. Is that...
Screen turns dark. Angel Knives blades begin
It's not,
to
okay.
She pierces his torso again and again until his heart flies right out of his chest. She winds back her leg and roundhouses his head clean off. A geyser
Ellie's
of blood covers
face.
the entire playing field.
Oh, nice.
That is an ultra kill. Angel Knives throws her fists in the air. You win.
Fuck yeah, I win.
Not bad for your first game. So?
It was all right.
10 out of 10
love
face
it.
acting. This was
Yeah, I
that's
did.
precious though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like it.
Hey, you know what? We should head back. I need to head back.
You got plenty of time.
Riley, I don't have any more strikes left at this place. Tomorrow we'll just pick up where we left off.
She's doing this because there is no tomorrow.
I can't.
I understand.
We'll just do it another day then. Okay, Firefly Girl, when?
They've asked me to leave.
Leave what?
Boston. I'm supposed to join a group in another city. I argued with them to stay here. But you know how Marlene is. Nothing's easy with her. Everything's a test. They're picking me up tomorrow.
Mm.
Okay.
That's it?
Well, what do you want me to say?
I don't know. How about some friendly advice? I'm serious.
Why did you bring me here?
I wanted to see you.
No, why did you bring me here?
I don't know.
I don't know. You want my advice? Go. Come on, let's just say our goodbyes.
Mm.
I'm gonna go check out this music.
Riley. Riley! Damn it.
Please no more fighting.
Riley! Riley!
Anything back here? No. Okay. Oh my god, it's gonna happen, isn't it? Sorry. Oh! He's gonna fucking die, and it's gonna be horrible, and I'm not ready for it. Hold on. Can't open any of those. Okay, that's fine. This is fine.
What are you looking at?
Can I push them all over? No. Can I push those ones over? They're lit up. Right? This is 100% when it would happen. This is when it gets bad. This is when they get trapped. This is when they get bit. And it's gonna suck. We know it's gonna happen, but it's gonna suck. Ugh.
You ever seen anything like this?
Are we just done talking?
I don't know, are we?
You don't get to be pissed
Carly.
off at me.
Come on.
I'm pissed off at you.
For what? Asking you what you think?
When have you ever cared
Carly,
about what I
go.
think? We were good. We were better than good, and then you told me to fuck off, and then you just up and vanished.
You're right, Fruity, it is. It's just like Bert and
This-
Virgil.
Whole day. You feel guilty? You want an out? I'm giving it to you.
Ellie.
I'm supposed to be holed up on the other side of town. I get caught as a firefly, I'm dead. Guilt didn't make me cross a city full of soldiers, Ellie. And yeah, I did some shit that I don't know how to take back, but I'm trying.
Honestly, they're both communicating
Speaking of-
very well for 14-year-olds.
Those water guns you've been dreaming of? I nearly got shot for these. Surprise.
I'm not crying, you're crying. I'm not crying, you're crying.
Okay.
I'm not crying.
First, I'm gonna destroy you. And then we'll talk.
You're about to get drenched.
Let's see what you got, Firefly Girl.
Sorry, between Ellie and Joe's comments.
Come on, show me what you got. Ellie, come on. Ain't nowhere to hide.
No! I do got a soak meter. And I've done it so bad. Where is she? Where is she? No! Fuck off! I'm gonna lose. I'm gonna lose so bad.
Yeah, you feel that? Suck it down.
It's not Splatoon. Please. No, fuck off. Where is she?
Yes, there it is.
We just... Where is she gone? Where is she gone? I'm gonna get her! Assuming I don't run directly into her. No! I got her! I got her!
Destroyed you.
Just barely!
It was
The thwips are very good.
You are delusional.
No, she's not. We were,
You count to 5, I'll go hide, and we'll hunt each other.
we were neck and neck, Ellie. No, please.
Okay.
Close your eyes.
1, 2, 3.
I just want my babies to stay babies.
4, 5.
They're trying so hard to be babies. And I want them to enjoy it, but it's terrible. Oh, I saw her. Oh, I saw her.
Oh,
Got her.
damn.
All right, that's game.
I was not entirely sure that was gonna hit.
That's 2 out of 3. Let's go again.
All right.
I have won the 2 out of 3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
This girl,
5.
Riley.
Time to die.
Riley. Where is she? Right? Extremely poor choice of words. Where is she? Bitch.
Come back, baby.
Okay.
We're tied. Count it down.
All right. 1,
This is terrible.
2,
This is terrible.
5. Ready or not, here I come.
These guns suck. Aiming with these things is miserable.
Got you. I won.
You don't have to gloat because you fucking suck at this,
You know what?
Riley. Listen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Want to go again?
I do. I just.
You gotta go back.
It's fine. Whatever. I'm still a brickmaster, so eat shit, Riley.
Fine. Can I just walk you home?
I guess.
Come on, let me get my backpack.
Okay, but shoot her in the butt as you walk away.
Hey, so
She's gonna walk us home. It's precious, and I love it. And
I said it like an asshole, but
I love Ellie so
I
much.
totally meant it. You should go.
My sweet little lesbian.
I mean, this is something that you've wanted for, you know, forever, so who am I to stop you?
The one person that can.
No, please don't go. I'll be so miserable without you. I'll be fine. And you'll be fine. And we'll see each other again.
You should keep these. Not gonna do me any good. You still lug that Walkman around?
Always.
Let me see it. What's in it?
That tape you gave me?
You really will be miserable without me. Shut up. Leave that. Follow me.
What are we doing?
You'll see.
I'm not ready. Oh god, I hope this isn't copyrighted music.
Yeah.
Probably is. Hold on. We're gonna turn that down a little bit. Probably, maybe.
Lily, come here.
We're gonna turn that down a lot, actually. It's a good thing there's captions. I'm... Sweet babies. I just... This is gonna be tragic!
What is that? What's wrong?
Are they gonna kiss? Oh my god, are they gonna kiss? I don't know what that noise was. Ah! Ellie!
We'll figure it out.
It's
Wait.
horrible, horrible, wonderful, and then horrible.
Joel.
It's fine. Everything is fine. Okay, this is fine. I mean, like, we know that Ellie is gay. This is a thing that we know. I mean, I've played most of the second one. My poor baby. Gotta get back to Joel now. It's fine. It's not fine.
Oh, shit.
Get fucked! Hey, get a bow now! That's exciting.
Hell. Relax. What the hell are we doing here? Who gives a fuck about an old man and a little girl?
The sooner we find them, the sooner we get out of here. Make sure this area's clear. I'm heading this way. Check around back.
Ugh. Nope, okay, everyone's very wiggly. This is fine. We'll just grab these. And then hide behind here. Or maybe do some quick murders. And that'll make everything better, right? Who doesn't love a good murder? Where is he? There he is. Knife a man? Get fucked! Oh. This is fine. It's fine. We've done. It's fine.
Alright. I'm coming to get you,
Oh
Joel.
my god.
These guys want to fight?
They weren't using those kidneys. They didn't need them.
I'm gonna get to him, stitch him up, and then I'm gonna get the hell out of here.
Okay, everything is fine. What's this? Ellie is a badass and only deserves the nice things in the world, but will not get the nice things in the world.
Which way?
I mean, probably the way that the blood is going, but we're not gonna follow the blood because I want the things that the blood does not lead us to.
Fuck these guys.
I hear infected.
Come on. Excuse? Fuck off! Fuck off! Okay, that's fine. Oh my god. It's fine. They're just horrible and awful, and apparently can grab you from the vent. It's fine. Fuck off! Ellie, I need you to reload faster, perhaps. Consider. Okay. You know what? This is alright.
Man.
Oh, that's where they wanted me to go. Following the blood was the optional thing. I see. I understand. Ugh. If I could have supplies to literally make anything worthwhile, that would be cool. Ellie... We gotta talk about how bad you are at reloading. Ellie, run! Ellie, run! Where is it? There. Okay. This is fine. We've done it.
Any more of these fuckers? No?
Okay. Well, maybe now I can, like, get items. They keep giving, like... I realized I dropped my brick for a bottle, but that's fine right now. It's fine. Like... I keep getting items, but I never get enough of a single item to, like, make a full item. I can make one of these now, so that's fine, I guess. I don't want to make smoke bombs, though. I hate them. Ugh. Okay. This is...
So close. I need a way around.
Well, we'll go this way, then. How about we go this way? Ellie, consider. We go this way. I still can't make a Molotov. Yeah, but that's the only time that they've ever been useful.
Okay.
And that's just because there were too many men in the same space. And I needed to be able to move up and shoot them without all of them shooting me. That was a one-off situation. I promise. Okay, let's... Let's try this. Hello, Sam. How's it going, friend? Sorry, I thought I heard somebody breathing over here. Nope, it's Keich. Say hello to my... Say hello to me. My name is Keich. You wiggly motherfucker.
Get her!
I'll just let the clicker handle this. Actually. I'll just let the clicker handle this situation. Or don't. Or don't search the area. That's fine too. Please, sirs. I have nowhere to go. I can make a Molotov now, though. Rip in pieces, clicker friend. Clicker did a wonderful job for us, honestly. This is horrible and I hate it here. No, Ellie, go! Ellie, go! We'll just do this. At least one man is out of the way. I missed. Right, the universal weak spot. Ellie! Holy shit, she wouldn't aim! Like, she wouldn't lift the bow up to, like, get any view on any person. Ellie, come on. We are now in pain. Everything is fine. It's fine. We didn't die. We got through. There were a lot of bad things there. That was like the worst possible situation that could have happened. But hey, we did it. But yeah, how's it going, Sam? How are you doing? Welcome in. Everything is awful. It's not. We just have enemies everywhere, all of the time. And it's a little tragic, if I do say so myself. I'm glad you're doing good, though. Good. We'd love to hear it. Hey. Nice! I am jealous. And if you get a chance, share bands. Share bands with me. Need more music. That's awesome, though! What's in here? Ammo. That's nice. We like that. Not again. Allie, it just happens! Oh my goodness. All the wahs. No. mean it. Look, I will turn them off. It's fully outside. It was the first time in forever we're comfortable to show. I wish that we had something like that, but I also know that nobody here would like, you know, take precautions even with it being outside and stuff. But I'm really glad that they had that set up and that you could go and that it was wonderful and fantastic and comfy and lovely. Makes me really happy. I've been fairly happy with how, like, a lot of the music scene has been handling stuff. I'm still unable to attend things just because of my own stuff. But I'm really, really happy that you're able to go and do that. Real talk. Oh, items. Give. It's there.
Hey, I hear the fucking horse behind you. Help me get the door. Yeah, we'll get the door. You gotta be first. I don't wanna get angry.
Did they see me or not? Okay, well, they know where I am now. Stop! Fuck off! This doesn't seem fair? Okay. We're not gonna run into there this time. Where are all of them? That's too many men everywhere. Oh no. Let's do this. That'll get one of them. But maybe they'll drag them all out over there? Never mind. That's not gonna, like, draw any of their attention. Actually, no one gives a shit about that guy in particular. Okay. Yeah, this bit's just very rude. Okay, this is fine. That was normal behavior for him.
Son of a bitch!
What were my arrows doing? This is extremely rude. Let me tell you. Let me name the ways in which this is extremely rude. At least it checkpointed me over here. Okay, let's eat that so I can have at least some health. No.
Ellie, you gotta do something.
What was that?
Go check it out. Go check it out. Where are they all coming from? Ellie, what are you doing? Her aim is fucking wild sometimes. Okay. Anyone else coming up the stairs? Or coming through the door that I need to know about? Perhaps? Consider letting me know if that is happening now, okay? Thank you. Where are the terrible men? Right, you have to see if you're coming. You have to let me know if you're here. Okay? You don't know where I am! Actually. You have no idea I'm up here. You did not see me. Ellie, you're so fucking short. I mean, honestly, though. This is very rude of him. No. Where? She can barely see over the balcony. She needs to be taller. Okay. One more man? Just the single man now. Just the one man. Fucking hell!
That's that.
Okay, great. We're doing it. Look, we love a short king around here, but also I need her to be a little taller. You must be this tall to shoot over banisters. Okay. I need Ellie to just be like, by like an inch. Just an inch more and we would be good. That's all. Stand on your tiptoes or something.
Right.
No, Ellie, I was okay.
Down there by the door. Gotta pin down. Go finish her.
Fuck you!
Hey, this is too many men!
You wanna do this? Let's do this.
This is too many men!
Gonna light you up.
If I could get multiple men to stand over there, that would be cool.
Heads up. Use the bomb.
Please. This is not ideal. Where are you? How are you shooting at me from there? fight this many men with the garbage supplies that they have given me.
Son of a bitch! I don't know. Keep an eye on it.
I'm gonna die. Okay. Yep. Alright, cool. And they're just gonna keep spawning me into this bad place where everyone can see me no matter what I do. Wonderful. I love this.
We got infected!
Where? Where are the infected? How did you know I was here? I'm gonna die. I am dead. I am officially dead. Maybe if I just stay here and let the infected do their business. You can't know I was here. You can't. You literally cannot know that I was here. Go over there. Holy shit! This is awful. Fuck off! The way these stupid stalkers can just hone in on you, like... I swear to God. And I still can't make anything useful. Game. I am playing on normal. I don't think it was this rude during like main game either. Like, I mean, it was definitely rude a couple of times, but not this rude. No. What's that gonna do for clickers? That's not gonna do anything for clickers. Go over there. Ellie, I need you to jump over. It's not gonna help us, though. Smoky clickers don't do anything for me. Go. Go. Be gone. Go. This is fine. We're just gonna walk away. We're just gonna walk away. We're gonna take some of these, and we're just gonna get out of here. Right? They're not our problem anymore. We don't need to worry about them. Was this... Did we hide Joel in the candy shop? Don't remember where we put our Joel. It's true, we don't have to kill everyone that we meet. It does tend to make it a little more easy. when you do, but you know what? Sometimes you can just walk away from a situation. Hey, Joel! Can you, shout? Let me know where you are. He's right over here, isn't he? He's in that one. He's in Swirls. Do I have stuff for a medkit? I do, but I also have stuff for a Molotov. Well, medkit. Medkit's more important. I kind of regret not making that Molotov now. Stop moving! Please! You're far too wiggly! Please! Ah! Okay.
Don't even think about surprising me. You run up like your friends, you hear me?
Ellie, it's just... They're all dead. They're all dead, Ellie. We've got this, okay? Time to open it up. Holy shit, that was an extremely rude level. Extremely rude. We're just gonna slice this clicker in half. That was so loud. That's so loud. I'm coming! We're going! Let's go! No, we need those. Oh, this is horrible. That checkpoint was horrible. Horrible. Also, if we could get away from this music, that would be wonderful. Okay, I'm hurrying. Yeah, that was not kind. I'm here, Riley. It's not gonna matter. Let's go. I can't open doors, Riley. It's all you. Also, you're the only one who has a weapon. I have nothing. I got nothing. I am coming. You gotta keep going, okay? Oh no. No, no, no. No, 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 no. This is fine. Stab, 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 stab. Get him, Ellie. Fuck him up.
Wow. All right, come on.
There we go.
The scaffolding, that's our way out.
Okay, well then let's go. Again, it's not gonna matter. Riley, I know what happens to both of you, and it's
Oh, they're behind us too.
This way.
not great.
Go, go, go,
It's
go,
quite
go.
tragic, actually.
They're getting closer.
Just follow me.
Follow you? I think you mean follow me.
Ellie, I'm good. Just keep going.
There's an open window.
So hey, this is why we don't light up an entire mall during a zombie apocalypse and make a bunch of noise. We don't do any of these things.
Reach up. I got you. Hold on. Give me your hand. Ellie.
Oof. Get off, 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 get off. Might have been. Bad choices might have occurred. Jesus Christ. That is true. I'm too annoyed with the last level to be sad. Well, I say that.
Ellie, your arm.
Now we'll be sad. It's okay. I mean, Ellie's gonna be fine. We know this.
No, 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 no.
No, we're back to being sad.
I've done this before. I'm kind of an expert. Ish.
Oh.
Stay calm.
There's some more stuff over there you can break.
What are we gonna do?
The way I see it, we got two options. Option one, you take the easy way out. It's quick and painless.
Not okay.
I'm not a fan of option one. Two, we fight.
Fight for what? We're gonna turn into one of those things.
There are a million ways we should have died before today. And a million ways we can die before tomorrow. But we fight for every second we get to spend with each other. Whether it's 2 minutes or 2 days. We don't give that up. I don't want to give that up. My vote? Let's just wait it out. You know, we can be all poetic and just lose our minds together.
What's option 3?
Sorry. Come on. Let's get out of here.
Cries. Okay. This is fine. This is all fine. Everything is fine. Oh. Yeah, we'll skip it. It's fine. I did like that. That last little fight bit was extremely rude, but I did really like that. Okay. Well, that's all I had planned for this evening. We're gonna end an hour earlier than planned, but I started an hour earlier, so that's fine. I'm still processing everything. It's good. It was good. Whew. My baby Ellie. We will start The Last of Us 2 next weekend. I've decided. We're gonna play The Last of Us 2 next weekend. Once we're done with that, we'll probably move on to The Evil Within 2. But we got lots of stuff that we can do during the weekdays as well. That are not zombie related. Because I know we've been doing a lot of zombie stuff lately. No, I really liked that. I don't feel like it really tells us anything different, anything new. I do kind of remember everyone, like, a few people collectively losing their minds when this came out, and them being all like, oh, Ellie's gay, and it's like, yeah, okay, and? Like, when it came out, and I bet that would have, like, a bigger impact on me if I hadn't known that. But, My sweet baby. My sweet, sweet baby. But yeah. I liked seeing Ellie be gay. I also liked it. And it's nice to see her with a girlfriend that's not shitty. I don't even remember her name, but I don't like girlfriend from the second one at all. Actually quite hate her. I have extremely strong opinions on her. On girlfriend whose name I cannot remember. But yeah, I'm excited to start that and kind of just get everyone's take on it while we go through it. But until then, we should end stream and find someone to raid and take it easy for the rest of the evening. Well, let me switch over my monitor so I can see everything that's going on now. I hope everyone enjoyed that as much as I did. Not just the DLC, but like the game as a whole. I'm really glad that I've like revisited it. It's wonderful. And I'm happy about it. But let's go hang out with a friend. Yeah? Unless anybody else has any opinions and thoughts that they would like to share. Otherwise, obviously the stream spoiler discussion in the Discord is good. Good place to do. She did do both of the things. She was gay and she did crimes. Thank you, Fruity, for getting the raid messages up. Y'all wanna go hang out with Dougie? Go hang out with Dougie. I love Dougie. It's Dougie time. Dougie's doing some Pokemon. You're doing the real mod stuff. I'm really proud of you for doing the real mod stuff. But yeah, it looks like Dougie just started streaming, which is great. Looks like he is doing the new Pokemon. The new Pokemans. Gonna go Pokemans. Some monsters of the pocket. We got pocket monsters here. I love y'all. Take care of your dang selves. This was great and wonderful and fantastic, and I'm very excited for this week. I'm very excited about everything that's gonna go on this week. Reminder that we're starting at 2 p.m. Central tomorrow. And yeah, I'll see you then. Take care. I love you. So long, friends.